Hello there, it's Friday afternoon, coming up to 5 o'clock. I'm back to the forest. I fancied a nice chilled out camp. It's an absolute cracker of an evening. It's just coming up for 5:10 now and the weather's beautiful. I mean, look at the views, just look at it. The air and everything is just fantastic here. It really is. I'm just picking my way through all this. It's so lush and green though. I mean, I just love it up here. I know it's a bit of a battle, but the rewards are worth it. This is probably the most peaceful camp you could have in Northumberland, this one. Totally isolated. Fantastic. I'll come back in a minute, I don't want to make you seasick. Right, I'm at my favoured spot. It's a lovely serene spot by the loch. So peaceful. It's lush, it's green, the air is fantastic. There's swarms of midges, but that don't matter. What do you expect in Northumberland, especially when you buy water? I've just took my gloves off to set some stuff up and my hands are getting bitten, but I'm alright. I mean, look at it. It's absolutely fantastic. And have a look at this for a pitch. Hey, what do you think of that? Is that the bee's knees or what? I've got a ridge line set up between two trees. I've got the tarp pegged out. It's the DD Tarp S pegged out with 4 tie-outs. I've got my mosquito net hanging up ready. I've got my foam mat down, the Exped mat, and obviously my bivy and sleeping bag, my normal stuff. It's going to be a cracking camp. Lovely. I'm going to get my food on now anyway, because it's I've only got an hour till it starts to get dark. But it's just great, isn't it? Where do you rather be? The light's incredible on the trees as the sun's coming down. I don't think I'll be able to get it because there's no high ground. You can't see the loch down there at the minute. But if we look into the distance over here, there's the Cheviot Hills up there. Looks nice and clear tonight. The sun's going down nicely. Beautiful, isn't it? I've just come up onto a little mound I spotted. I'll see if I can hold the camera still for get most of the sunset. We're going to lose it soon because there's some cloud over there. But not to worry. I've had 2 weekends without a camp. I can't believe it. I was doing that log cabin at home. Like a tuition and playroom for the daughter and somewhere Jed can have his mates over. Keep the kids a bit separate. Give them a bit of peace. And quiet. It took me about 12 days all in all. I said I was going to, because the wife had the first week the kids went back to school, Jed went back. The wife had the week off. And I even said on my last video, I'll have a couple of sneaky camps. But I was doing 10-hour days on this cabin and I thought, oh dear, I might as well just get it done. So I just bit the bullet and did the cabin. I had to dig out all the foundations, put some joists down, build the cabin. And the roof took a while because it's all insulated, as was the floor. That's all fully insulated. I've just got the electrics to put in now, which isn't a problem because I used to do electrics. Got the electrics to do and put a heater in there and then it's all set. I'll stick a couple of photos on and you can have a look at what I've been doing. So really, although I've missed the camps, I've got a huge job done and dusted and it's the family happy. So that's the main thing, isn't it? Starting to get a few complaints about the videos. I've had one, why don't you know, making me seasick, hold it still. I've had another saying, you know, the sunsets would be better, the time lapses would be better with music. Well, I just use my phone. Basically, it's like it or lump it. This is what it is. There we go, the sun's gone. Beautiful, cracking night. You can't see the lock over there, but we'll have a wander back. The sun's disappeared now. I'm glad we caught that. Honestly, it's ridiculous for the midges. I mean, there's a few landing on my glove even. I mean... Yeah, you can see all the midges, look, it's an absolute nightmare. Can you see them all? It's ridiculous. I mean, we all moan about the midges, don't we? But it is what it is. As soon as, hopefully when it gets dark, they'll all die off, but they'll at least disappear till the morning. I'm going to get in me, I've got my mesh set up there ready. I'm going to get in there in a minute. I'm meant to be having a look at a torch tonight, but the way this is going, it's going to be blooming hard work. But they can't bite me anyway with my stuff on, so it doesn't really matter, does it? It's just hard to drink your coffee. But you couldn't drink it through this. It'd just make a mess. So I've been asked by Trustfire to review a head torch. Now I'm quite lucky actually because it's a good quality one. It seems to have loads of features. Now normally I just buy a cheap head torch for about 20 quid, or one that's in the sale. But this particular torch has got loads of features. It's rechargeable, or you can use a couple of batteries if you'd rather. Now on the end, if you just briefly press the power button, obviously it's showing green now. That's perfectly charged. The next stage is yellow, which means it's still usable. And when it lights up to red, it means you've got to think about recharging. And if it's flashing red, it's recharged now. Now, to turn this one on, if you hold it in for half a second, it puts the spotlight on. So you've got low, medium, there, and even higher. I'll go through the actual, it's ridiculous. It really is. We'll turn it round. It's got a huge range. So that's the low. That's the next one. That's high. And that's really high. Now, there's another mode on it. If you click it twice, it puts functional mode on. So you've got a red light. You've got a low, a high, and an SOS, as well as the red. So you've got red, low, high, SOS, and then half a second just turns everything off. It really is a smashing torch, and if you just hold it in, it cuts the spotlight back on. Now there's a memory feature as well, so let's put it on extremely bright. We'll turn it off. When you turn it back on again, it memorises the spotlight feature, the setting you had it on. To look straight onto the extremely bright. Now the functional setting doesn't have a memory, only the spotlight setting has the memory. So it's got loads of features. I'm going to turn the I'll turn the flashlight off, and we'll see how bright it illuminates things outside. Right, so I'm out the bivvy now. I'm going to turn my light off and we'll demonstrate the torch. That's your medium. That's your high. And that's super bright. So it's a fabulous torch, it really is. Half a second to turn it off. Let's run through the features again. Apparently it's drop tested from a meter. It's IP68, which is dust resistant, obviously all solids, and it should be okay to be temporarily submerged. You press it twice, you've got functional mode, which is red, low, high, and SOS. Half a second to turn it all off. And if you hold it in for half a second, you've got spotlight, extremely bright, low, medium, high, and extremely bright. Honestly, it's a cracking torch, it really is. So I'll unscrew this side, and there's your charging port there for your lead, and it comes with the lead, and that's nice and water protected as well. So you just screw it back in. All in all, it makes me wonder why I've never bought a decent head torch, because the features on this truly are amazing. I'll be using this in depth, and I'll give some reports as we get going. Right, it's time for a brew for me. Hello there. Right, so I'm just lying in the bivvy here. It's just about 20 past 10. I'm thinking about getting my head down now. I was just turning over and the Exped mat popped. I heard it pop somewhere up here behind my head. Now, I've never had any problems with one of these mats before, but I've got my air pump with me. I've got the glue to fix it, but to be honest, I can't be bothered, because if I get out of this mosquito net, I'm going to be eaten alive. Because even at this time of night, there's so many bugs about. I don't know what it is about this bit by the lock, but there's always bugs here. But it seems pretty, I mean, I've got my foam, look there. It seems pretty comfortable just on the foam, so I'm just going to make do. And we'll see if I get cold in the night. Just one of them things. I've never had a problem with the mat before. But I was just turning over, sort of getting comfortable, sorting the mat out, and it literally did make a loud pop somewhere behind my head. Just one of them things. I've had a couple of brews. I'm nice and warm. The foam seems to be doing its job, so I'm just going to get my head down. It's just nice to be on a chilled out camp. It's so quiet. There's been a couple of spots of rain, but now the sky's clear and I can see the stars. It's great. It really is so quiet here. It must be the most remote part in the forest, this, because I'm so far away from everything. It's just, the air's fantastic. I think this is my favourite pitch for a quiet pitch. It's just smashing. Right, we'll see you in the morning. Let's have a good sleep there to Matt. Well, I wouldn't normally put my video on in the middle of the night, but I've just woke up and I'm soaked in the bivvy, absolutely soaked. You can't see in there, but look at the outside of the bivvy. Look how wet that is. The mat is actually wet. And look at that, it's dripping. It's just condensation. I'm under the tarp. There's no rain got on me, but that's where it split last night. Look, that popped. That's absolutely useless, that is, isn't it? That's just lying on it. So that now was absolutely acting as some form of barrier between the bivvy and the floor. It's extremely damp. But the bottom end, my legs are actually wet. It's ridiculous. I don't know what I'm going to do. It's 20 past 12 and my legs are actually wet in the sleeping bag. So all my stuff's dry. This is just coming up from the ground. It just doesn't make sense. I mean, the grass is dry, look. It's just condensation. I mean, that's ridiculous. I think this is my second catastrophe in a bivvy. But this time I'm wet. I'm actually wet. And it's frigging midnight in the middle of nowhere. I've just took my socks off because they're soaking wet. And there's the inside of the sleeping bag. Look in the bivvy. Look at it. That is condensation. Yeah, God. All I can think is, I mean, I'll have to put my waterproof trousers on and just get in a wet sleeping bag until it's daylight. It's coming up to 1 o'clock in the morning, so I'm just going to have my mats. There's my blooming bag. See, I'm well under the tarp. The ground's dry. There's no water. I mean, that's ridiculous. Look at it. Let's have a look inside it. I think this is the last time I'll be using this. Hang on. There's the inside of the bivvy there. That's the inside of the bivvy. It's just glistening with water, look. There's no holes. It's just condensation. Ridiculous. I'm going to have to my legs are going to be soaked in that. Absolutely. I mean, look at it. It's absolutely ringing through. It's down sleeping bag as well. I'm going to have to put my waterproof trousers on. Leave me sock. I've got spare socks for the morning. I'll have to put waterproof trousers on and lie in my waterproof jacket just to try and get some sleep and have wet feet. Right, so I've got my waterproof coat and I've got my Gortex over trousers on. I'm just going to have wet feet. I mean, look at that. I mean, look at it, dear God. It's nearly 1 o'clock in the morning as well. There's nothing I can do. Good morning. It's just coming up to 6:30. Probably my worst night ever camping. As you know, I finally got sorted out about 1 o'clock. I put my waterproof trousers on. I went to bed originally in just my t-shirt because it was warm enough. But when I went back to sleep at 1 o'clock after sorting out the water, I put my thermals on, my t-shirt and my thermals, my trousers, my waterproof trousers. And I had an idea because the sleeping bag was soaking through. I wrapped my feet and the bottom of my legs up where the water was in the Gortex jacket. So it's kept my feet warm and dry for the rest of the night. Although it's raining now, what my jacket's going to be like when I get it out in a minute, I don't know. But, and then at 3 o'clock I woke up freezing cold. So I've had to put my down jacket on. I've slept with the hood up. Honestly, it's been awful. And if we look now, honestly, it's been awful. I caught the camera then. If we look now, the condensation, the sleeping bag is just damp. There's been hardly any insulation at all. It's awful. Well, I've made myself a brew just and my porridge. I'm going to have that to warm up. Then I'll show you later. Right. The jacket's not bad actually. My feet are warm and dry. And some spare socks. Look at the water in the back of it. Look at it. I've just been sleeping in water. The condensation on this has been... Look at it. The condensation on that's ridiculous. Let's have a look down there. Oh my God, look at it. Yes, it's trying to get my head round what happened. I mean, it's mad, isn't it? You've got the split Exped mat lying on top of the foam mat. Condensation on both sides because it's flat, because obviously it's lost its insulation when it's flat. You've got water on both sides of that. Add to the fact, I must have slipped down the mat a little bit in the night because it's not quite level. So the bottom of the bivvy bag and the Exped mat was slightly exposed out of the tarp. So that's adding extra condensation. And I'm presuming a little bit of rain before. Although when I woke up soaking wet at 1, the sky was clear and the stars were out. But it's rained on and off since. So I'm presuming it must have rained before that as well. So you've got water getting onto the flat Exped mat. That's lying there.
because obviously it's a waterproof surface. Your bivy bag is lying on top of that. Add the condensation and the amount of moisture just trapped inside the bivy. Just like that time last year when and all the condensation soaked the sleeping bag. But this was mega this time. And thank God I've got the foam mat with me. It's allowed me to get through the night rather than trek out at 1 o'clock. But it hasn't been a comfortable sleep. It's been too cold. No insulation value at all. Just minimal. Makes me think now, going forward, if you're going to trek into the middle of nowhere, what can you do? Because if your mat pops, you're in trouble. Even more so under a tarp with a bivy like me, because it's not as insulated as in a tent. It's pouring with rain now. I've got to pack up in the rain. At least the bugs aren't out. I've been able to take the muzzy net off. But some big muzzies, but not the midges. Oh dear. Major rethink now. I mean, I might even have to carry a thicker, solid piece mat and make that an essential part of the kit. Because this was an absolute disaster. I only got through it because I carry plenty of warm stuff. I had the foresight to wrap my legs up in the Gortex jacket. So I'm lying there in Gortex on the bottom. Luckily the top half of the sleeping bag up here by me body. It's slightly damp, but nothing like the bottom. Mad. All because the blooming mat bust. Hopeless. That's me all packed up and ready to go. Leave no trace as always. Last look at the view. It's a beautiful spot, isn't it? But obviously creepy happenings. But anyway, we will move forwards, possibly from the worst camp of my living experience. From the midges to the split Exped mat, to the soaked sleeping bag, to the wet legs, wet feet and thoroughly cold night. Unbelievable. So we'll catch you on the walk back. What a lovely green walkout. It's so soft. This sphagnum moss must be a foot deep. It's so spongy, it's beautiful. Lots of mushrooms about. Well, it's been a cracking camp to get the fresh air. That's about all that was cracking, was the fresh air. Everything else has been disaster. I just love these forest walks. Just the dampness and the cleanness of the air. It's fantastic. You can get lost so easy though up here. I'm in this old gully because there's all fallen trees over there. I'm just going to get past these fallen trees. So, there's the fallen trees. You've got to love it in these woods, haven't you? There's a nice clear route down there, whereas that one's a bit blocked. Beautiful, look at it. I love it. I'll tell you, when you've had a cold, damp, wet night, an hour and 3/4 walk out is not easy. Guys, that's the end of the walk back. Mind, it was hard work when I've had a cold, damp night. Just be thankful that I had the warm clothes and the waterproofs to put on, so at least I was able to stop in the wet sleeping bag. But I don't know what to make of this mat issue, because it's brought it to light. If your mat fails, you can't get away with just lying on the foam because the condensation is just too bad. So I don't know what the answer is there. Do you get two cheap light mats, or do you get your good mat and then carry a lightweight mat as a backup? I mean,
or do you just bail out if possible? But I mean, I couldn't. I was in the middle of nowhere. The ground was too bad to bail out in the night. I don't know. Anyway, on this video, I'm obviously in the forest. I've not mentioned a location because too many people mention locations now. So please don't in the comments, because people want to come back to this area. And if it gets a reputation that lots of people are here, it's just going to spoil it again. So I haven't mentioned the location. The torch I was asked to test turned out to be quite a good little torch. I'll put a bit more of a description in my video description with a few specs and that, and I think there's a discount code as well. But first time I've done a review, it wasn't that hard. At least I've got a decent torch out of it. So we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.